Welcome to the first installment of Tools, Tips, and Techniques Tuesdays, where every Tuesday or so I make a video about a question that you guys have asked, and that is what else goes along with owning and operating a tractor. So in today's video, we're going to cover probably the most important thing about actually having a tractor, and that is grease. Here I have just a basic grease gun, the little fitting that came with the grease gun. This is a grease fitting called a Zerk, and the grease that I usually run, and that's this Harvest King. It's lithium flex all season grease. It's like the cheapest stuff that they sell at our local tractor supply store. You don't need to go high end with tractors and equipment as far as grease goes. Some people want to use something like a marine grease or something like that to protect against the elements and that sort of thing. And honestly, if you want to go with that kind of stuff, that's up to you. In my opinion, you're just wasting money. You should be greasing your tractor often enough that the weather doesn't have any effect on it. So that being said, today I'm going to show off a little tool that I got in addition to my grease gun, and that's this lock and lube right here. And this little doodad is the long version. They make them shorter. This is what came with my grease gun. And what this does is when you pull this lever back, it exposes these jaws. And with this one that came on it, you'd have to hold this fitting on here. Sometimes they snap on, sometimes they don't. This one doesn't. And so you can push on it all you want. It will pump grease through the Zerk, but you have to hold on to it with your hand. Versus this lock and lube, you push this on there and these jaws grab a hold of it and actually hold on to the grease zerks, freeing up your hand. You don't need to actually hold on to the hose, so you can sit there and start pumping your grease. So let's see what that looks like in action. But first, we need to actually put some grease in this grease gun. This is a very basic grease gun that I've had for a very long time. I've asked for the DeWalt battery operated grease gun for Christmas, and $300 or so. It's probably not good enough. So to check to see if it's empty, I can't pull this back very far. So that tells me that it's empty. So we're just gonna undo it here. And sure enough, there's the plunge right there. There's no grease in there. So now we can pull this back and lock it at an angle. It kind of goes at a little bit of an angle. And that allows us to remove this empty tube. We're going to take our new tube and we're going to take the plastic end off first. This has got like a little pop can tab here. We're going to take the plastic one off first, and we're going to shove this side down into it first. We're just going to go just like that, all the way down as far as it'll go. There we go. Now at this point, we can open this like a can of pop. Take the top of it here, and screw it back on. And then we should be able to push this all the way back down. All right, now we're all ready to go. If I start pumping this, grease will come out. First, let me show you on this Zerk right here. I can actually hook this on, and there's going to be a link in the description for this lock and lube. This lock and lube actually is a lifesaver. So if I start pumping grease, you'll see it starts coming out of there. And you want to grease everything on your tractor that's metal on metal contact. Anywhere there's a bearing, anywhere there's a pivot point, anywhere there's a grease zerk, you want to grease. And I'll cover greasing in another video as far as how much you should grease, how often you should grease, and that sort of thing. But for now, let's go over to the tractor and take a look. So right down here on this upper control arm, we have a grease fitting right here. I'm not going to grease the whole front end of the tractor right now. This is just for demonstration. So all I got to do with the lock and lube, stick it on there, let it go like that. And now I got with just one hand controlling this thing. And I can just start pumping grease just like that. If I had one of the grease guns that require two hands on the pump, now I don't need a third to actually hold on to this. This thing is awesome. Here you can see we have one of these recessed grease fittings. These are very common in modern tractors anymore, where the grease zerk is actually inside the pin and disperses grease evenly across the pin. The problem that some people actually have with these, especially using the lock and lube, is that the barrel diameter here won't allow for a recessed zerk fitting like this. What I have found with this particular loader is that that's not a problem. This fits in there just fine, all the way in, and I can start pumping grease. Just like that. All done. In conclusion, greasing your tractor can be a dirty, messy chore. The lock and lube here attached to your grease gun, I believe that's completely universal, makes that job just a little bit easier. If I had a little battery powered DeWalt grease gun, it would be a joy. But the lock and lube, it really is a lifesaver. That's all I have for now. Please consider subscribing, liking this video. If you do subscribe, please hit that little bell notification so you can get a notification every time I upload a video. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and allows other people to find my channel a lot easier. We are growing and we're growing quickly, and I really appreciate you all. Thanks again for watching.